I've always hated how people assume living with your parents after 25 means you're a failure. Like you're lazy. Or incapable. Or just sad. I live with my mom. And no, it's not because I can't afford to move out. It's because she has early onset Parkinson's and I'm her primary caregiver. I didn't advertise that at work. Honestly, I didn't want the pity, and I sure as hell didn't want to explain the bathroom modifications or medication schedules to people who barely remembered my name. I work at a mid-sized marketing firm in downtown Minneapolis. Not glamorous, but it pays decently and the benefits are solid. Most of my team is under 35 and they act like we're in some kind of success Olympics. New cars, condo upgrades, destination weddings every 3 months. Meanwhile, I carpool or take the bus. I use my PTO for doctor appointments. And when I go home, I don't go to a cozy loft or rooftop bar. I go to a 1-story house with carpet that should have been replaced in 2009 and a mom who sometimes can't hold a fork. Anyway, all this came to a head during a Thursday lunch break. It started out harmless. We were at the usual spot in the break room, microwaving sad leftovers and half listening to a podcast. Then Andrew, the loud guy from accounts, asked me what I was doing for the weekend. Just staying in, I said, sipping my coffee. Oh right, forgot, still living with mommy, he said with a smirk. It got a few laughs. Not mean, exactly, but the kind that stings when you're already tired. That must be nice though, Rachel chimed in. No rent, no responsibilities. I didn't say anything. Just forced a smile and poked at my pasta. You saving for a down payment or just stuck? Andrew added, like he was doing me a favor by asking. That was when something in me cracked, just a little. I help take care of my mom, I said quietly. She's not well. The room got quiet. Not in an understanding way. More like in an oh now you made it weird way. Andrew gave an awkward laugh. Man, way to kill the vibe. We were just messing around. Yeah, no big deal, Rachel said quickly. Just teasing. But I could feel it. That look? Like I'd confirmed their assumptions just in a different flavor. The Monday after that awkward lunch, I arrived early to finish a few slides for a client pitch. The office was unusually quiet, no gossip at the coffee machine, no Andrew loudly recapping his weekend like he was narrating a podcast no one asked for. Then the announcement came over email. All staff meeting at 10 a.m. sharp. Mandatory. That got everyone buzzing. Theories flew, layoffs, a merger, a scandal, even someone quitting in spectacular fashion. But when we gathered in the conference room, no one looked especially nervous. Until our CEO walked in. Mr. Dalton isn't the kind of boss who makes frequent appearances. He's the kind who shows up once a quarter, shakes a few hands, smiles for the holiday group photo, then vanishes behind the curtain again. So when he sat down at the front of the room with a serious expression, everyone stiffened. Good morning, he said, clearing his throat. I'm here today because we're launching a major initiative. One that's personal to me. He clicked the remote, and a title slide popped up on the screen. Caregivers in the Workplace. A support initiative. I blinked. He continued. My wife was recently diagnosed with a neurodegenerative condition. It's made me rethink how our company supports employees who are caregivers. Not just parents, but those caring for aging relatives, disabled siblings, spouses. I felt my heart rate pick up. No one in that room knew I was one of those people. Not really. Too many talented professionals are quietly burning out, he said. We're going to change that. And to do it right, I want to hear from people with real experience. He turned slightly. That brings me to someone on our team who's been balancing a heavy load while still delivering excellent work. Someone who represents the very people we're trying to reach. I froze as his eyes landed on me. Alex, would you mind saying a few words? The room turned toward me. I could see the surprise on Andrew's face. Rachel's eyebrows lifted, confused. I stood up slowly. My mouth felt dry. Sure. I walked to the front and glanced at the CEO, who gave a small nod of encouragement. Then I looked at my coworkers. My mom was diagnosed with early onset Parkinson's 4 years ago, I said. She was 56. It started small, just her handwriting getting messy, dropping things. But it progressed faster than we expected. No one laughed now. No one smirked. I moved back in with her after college. At first, I thought it would be temporary. Then she started falling. She couldn't cook safely. She started needing help with daily tasks. I became her caregiver quietly because I didn't think anyone at work would get it. I looked at Andrew. He looked away. This job gave me purpose outside of caregiving. But I've also had to use PTO for doctor appointments. I've logged into meetings from hospital parking lots. I've juggled client calls while coordinating with home nurses. I paused. So yeah, I live with my mom. Not because I'm failing, but because I'm choosing to show up for someone who showed up for me. I stepped back. The room was silent. Then the CEO clapped. Others joined in slowly but genuinely. Mr. Dalton smiled. That's exactly the kind of voice we need in this initiative. Alex, I'd like you to join the working group and help shape our policy going forward. My hands trembled, but I nodded. I'd be honored. After the meeting, people treated me differently. Respectfully. Cautiously even. But not with pity, with something that felt like understanding. Still, Andrew didn't say a word. Until later that week, when he showed up by my desk looking like he had something on his mind. I wasn't sure what Andrew was doing lingering by my desk. He always struck me as the type who'd rather choke on his own ego than admit he was wrong. But there he was, holding a paper coffee cup, awkwardly shifting from foot to foot like a teenager outside a principal's office. Hey, he said. Got a minute? I gave a careful nod. Sure. He sat on the edge of the desk across from mine, looking like he didn't know where to put his hands. I wanted to say I'm sorry for what I said last week. In the break room. I stayed quiet. Let the silence hang. He cleared his throat. I didn't know about your mom. I was just being a jackass. That part was clear, I said evenly. He winced. Yeah. Fair. It would have been easy to brush him off. But something in his face, something tight and tired, made me pause. I looked closer. His usual loud energy was gone. He looked worn out. Pale, even. You okay? I asked before I could stop myself. He let out a humorless laugh. Not really. Then he said something I never expected. My dad has dementia. Early stages. Found out 2 months ago. I blinked. You never mentioned it. Didn't know how, he said. Didn't want people to look at me different. Like I was fragile. It hit me like a punch. For all the teasing and bravado, Andrew was also carrying something. Something heavy. He looked down at his coffee. I guess I got weird around you because you're doing the thing I don't know how to do. Like, living it. And still showing up here. Every day. I let that sit between us. It shifted something. You don't have to figure it all out at once, I said quietly. Just start by being honest. With yourself. With him. He nodded, staring at the floor. And maybe, I added, stop mocking people who are already doing what you're scared of. That got a real smile out of him, sheepish but sincere. Deal. Over the next few weeks, things at work changed in small but meaningful ways. Rachel started asking real questions. Others shared stories about parents or partners dealing with invisible illnesses. The CEO's initiative gained traction, and suddenly, caregiving wasn't this taboo topic you had to hide under polite silence. But the biggest surprise came on a rainy Thursday afternoon. I was packing up when an HR rep stopped by and handed me a sealed envelope. It's about the working group, she said. And a little more. Inside was a formal offer, an internal promotion to community and wellness liaison, a new role designed to build workplace support structures for employees balancing personal care responsibilities. It came with a raise, a flexible schedule, and a note at the bottom in Mr. Dalton's handwriting. Your voice changed this place. Let's make sure it keeps changing. But just when I thought I was finally being seen, something happened at home that shook me to the core and made me question whether I could keep doing this at all. I wish I could say everything wrapped up in a neat little bow after the promotion. But life doesn't do bows, it does unraveling threads. A few weeks into the new role, I came home late after a strategy session for the wellness initiative. My mom's part-time aide had already left and the house was quiet. Too quiet. Mom? I called. No answer. I found her sitting on the kitchen floor. Her face was blank, her hands trembling so hard she couldn't open the bottle of water in front of her. I rushed to her. She wasn't hurt, just frozen in place. Stuck in a fog of confusion and shame. I helped her up, got her to the couch, made her tea. And then I sat in the bathroom for 10 minutes, trying not to cry loud enough for her to hear. That night, it hit me, I was burning out. Not because I didn't love her, but because love alone wasn't enough to keep both of us whole. The next morning, I called her neurologist and scheduled a reassessment. Then I called a social worker about long-term care support, real support. Not patchwork schedules and guilt-soaked mornings. I even brought it up with my boss, who offered to help connect me with resources through our HR benefits program. For the first time, I let go of the idea that being a good son meant doing it all by myself. I had taken care of her. Now, I had to take care of both of us. 2 months later, my mom's condition had stabilized under a new treatment plan. A part-time nurse came in 4 days a week. I still lived with her, but now when I left for work, I didn't carry a knot of dread in my chest. At the office, things had changed too. The wellness group had grown into a full committee. The company launched a caregiver support policy, flex hours, emergency leave, even peer mentorship. I led a monthly discussion group and people actually showed up. One of those people was Andrew. He spoke, eventually. Shared about his dad. About the guilt. About the fear. And I watched as others nodded, not out of politeness, but recognition. This isn't a story about triumph, not really. It's a story about survival. About how we make space for each other in places where silence used to live. And yeah, I still live with my mom. But now when people find out, they don't laugh. They ask if I have a minute. Because someone they love just got diagnosed. Or someone they know is quietly falling apart trying to keep it all together. And I tell them what I wish someone had told me. You're not weak for staying. You're not wrong for needing help. You're not failing because your life doesn't look like everyone else's highlight reel. Sometimes being enough looks like sitting in a quiet kitchen holding a shaking hand. And still showing up the next morning to remind the world that people like us exist. And we matter.